Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, powerhouse dudes and chicks, I'm Super Goggins, I'm a frag freak, and y'all can suck Hey, how's it going everyone? Nice to have you with me again. Today I have something for you a little bit different. I know a lot of people say that, but I actually do. The fragrance I'm going to bring you today is more of an introduction to the fragrance itself, and I do have something that this leads up to. So before we find out what it is, let me tell you that this fragrance is very, very big. Now I'm not talking just about performance, sillage, projection, anything like that. I mean, this is physically big. So I brought some friends round to help me get it in here for you. Patrick, bring it through, okay? Through you come, Patrick. Over there, that side, that side, that side. Okay, bring it in, lower it, down, down, down. Put it there, Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. You're fired, Patrick. He's been drinking it. The fragrance of which I speak is none other than Eau Des Missions Cologne from Le Convent Minimis, and it's a vanilla fragrance. It's a very, very large bottle, as you can see. That's a 500ml one. My missus bought me this. I think it cost her about 27 quid from Amazon, something like that. And it's a lovely fragrance, but before I go into the details and the smell of the fragrance, I want to tell you a little bit about the history of the story of the Convent.
So it's a convent.
Convent.
And in the 17th century, a convent was built, okay? So the convent got out to a bit of a shaky start, and some of the people were a bit dodgy in there, and the place burnt down, okay? Now that convent stayed in a state of nothing. It was basically a pile of rubble and ash for almost 100 years. After that time, some Nordic pygmies came and restored the building to its former glory, and hired some witches to brew botanical potions in the building, which they then fed to the local orphan children. That potion mutated the orphans, allowing them to develop amphibious gills, which in turn allowed them to swim underwater and reside free of rent in the moat of the...
I'll link the story of the history of this below, down in the description, all right? So the fragrance itself, as you can see, that is a huge bottle. So what I do is I've decanted this into a smaller bottle, which I'll show you. This is a bottle of my missus's, an ex-bottle of my missus's Thierry Mugler, or just Mugler these days, Womanity. And I just really, really like the bottle, so we kept it. I'm going to show you the bottle, and I think you'll agree it's absolutely lovely. Hopefully this is going to focus for you there, guys. Very nice bottle indeed there. Think you'll agree. So I'm gonna have a little spray of it now. Like I say, predominantly vanilla scent. I'm not gonna spray on my watch here. I'm not a junkie, by the way. I just had blood the other day, so. There we go, 2 little sprays of that. The first time I tried this, I basically got, I'll tell you what I got without consulting anything. I got vanilla, booze, sweetness, and some woodiness. That's all I could really tell. Now going in for a little smell, and now I know what it is. I'm just going to click back on Fragrantica here so I can see the page. Wrong one. Where's it gone? There it is. After consultation, I'm getting the vanilla still very heavily. Then I can smell the benzoin and the incensey smell, which actually I could smell it originally. I could smell some incense in there. Then a woodiness, and apparently there's some floral in this, but I don't get it at all. There's a floral of some kind. I'm not going to even bother trying to remember what it's called because I don't smell any flowers in here at all. But then there's a herbal greenness in this, which I had no idea what it was. I could just tell there was something green in it, but it is Centella Asiatica. Now that is
a mutated fern that evolved after the nuclear holocaust of...
Loopy, stop it! That is a medicinal herb which is native to the wetlands of Asia, okay, especially India, and sometimes occurs in southern states of the US, right? So those are the so basically you've got vanilla, benzoin, myrrh, cedarwood, some floral I don't quite understand or get, and the herb, the Centella asiatica. That's the note breakdown of it. It's soft, it's warm, it's sweet, it's very vanillic, it's cozy, it's comforting, and it's very, very beautiful. Now, the performance itself on here, I would put at moderate, but anywhere between moderate and good, because to me it can vary. The performance in general does. Now, the sillage is quite good. It's leaving a trail behind me. The projection, it varies depending on loads of things. It really does. And the longevity is also, it can vary anywhere from, really seriously it varies massively. It can be anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours to any, and sometimes I find myself I can still smell it the next day. I don't know how or why it works like that. Sometimes it might be just to do with my clothing, it might be to do with where I sprayed it, the weather, blah blah blah. We know all about that stuff. All in all, it's absolutely a beautiful scent. Now, one of the things I get from this is that it smells very, very natural, especially if you just smell it straight from the bottle like this. This bottle doesn't have a sprayer on there, so I'm smelling it straight as liquid here. It smells extremely natural, really, really natural. There's no synthetic smelling anything in this to me at all. I've read reviews. There's some guy on Fragrantica, a couple of them actually said that it's quite synthetic, but for me it isn't at all. It's very, very natural smelling. It's quite light, but it does create a big aura, the sillage is almost like around you in a cloud rather than just being trailing behind you. So that, I suppose that is projection, isn't it, really? So it's reasonable at least. I would say I'll get sort of moderate EDP performance out of it. So in terms of the smell, I really like it. It's basically a vanilla sweetness with some additional kind of... The boozy smell that I get from it, I still get the boozy smell from it, is smelling to me a little bit like brandy. If you imagine sitting in the sun at a wooden table, this wooden table is not varnished, it's a natural wood, it could even be made of the cedar that I can smell from this, and you spilled a glass of brandy on that table in the hot sun and then just didn't bother to tidy it up because you're pissed or whatever, and the sun has dried it out on the table. The smell that table would smell like, brandy and wood, those two together, dried out. That's the kind of boozy smell that I get from it. So the sweetness with that and some incense smell and that kind of benzoin sweetness as well. So it's a really, really pleasant and lovely smell. The price point, like I said, my missus got this one for about 27 quid. You can get it on eBay still. I found a seller that sells this one, UK only I'm afraid, guys, for 25 quid. They're a very good seller. I've bought from them before and they're top notch. I'll do a link below. I know we all know how to use eBay, but I'll do a link anyway. And you can still get this even though it is discontinued, I should add. This is discontinued. So although this is a massive bottle, you can see I've used quite a lot of it, so I know the smell quite well. I'm quite used to it. And that's 80 ml in there, or a bit less than you can see there. And that's how much I've used. So I suppose I've used probably at least 50 ml, probably 50 to 80 ml of there that I've actually used. But stop, right? The glory, the beauty, the absolute treasured aspect of this fragrance for me is in the layering. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you all know the rest. This is an absolutely fantastic layering fragrance. Probably one of the best layering fragrances I have ever encountered in my life. You can layer it with anything. I can take a masculine, butch, 80s style powerhouse fragrance that's a bit too edgy and a bit too butch, whatever. Add some of this, and it just rounds it and smooths it and gives it some character and a bit of a gentle nature. I can take something which is a bit light and like maybe a bit of a freshie that's a bit too soapy and a bit too meh. Add this and it just gives it some character, some depth and some uniqueness that it wouldn't otherwise have on its own. It's a brilliant standalone fragrance. It really is very beautiful. You can overspray as much as you want and it never gets too much. It might do if you sort of pour it on your head or whatever, but for this price and this size you could do, couldn't you? It is stunning, stunning, stunning as a layering fragrance, and that is what my next video, or a future video soon, is going to be about. So I hope you can join me for that one, because I'm looking forward to it. I've been Super Goggins. Thanks ever so much for being with me again. Safe man, chill out, enough respect, and I'll catch you again, alright?